Hey, and welcome to the Bossed Up Podcast, episode 313. I'm your host, Emily Aries, the founder and CEO of Bossed Up. And today's episode is our second in our series all about what to disclose in the job interview and what to keep to yourself. Today, I want to share some tips on how to deal with disclosing a criminal background in the job interview. So interviews are stressful enough on a good day. If you are interviewing with a criminal record, that can just take your nerves to another level altogether. Are you better off leaving the past in the past and just staying focused on your future? Or does addressing your record up front serve as a sign of honesty and integrity? Let's break it down. First, we have to take a look at the employment laws on the books. Thanks to the success of what's known as the Ban the Box campaign, which is a national civil rights movement of formerly incarcerated people and their families, started back in 2004, over 150 counties and cities, along with 30 states, have adopted Ban the Box style laws to eliminate the formerly more common placement of a checkbox on the initial job application where applicants must reveal if they've ever been convicted of a felony. Furthermore, the federal government has banned the box in regards to federal employers, though not federal contractors. The cities and states that have banned the box include New York City, Boston, Philadelphia, Atlanta, Chicago, Detroit, Seattle, and San Francisco, all of which have removed the question regarding conviction history from employment applications. And as of 2020, here in Colorado, we became the 13th state to ban private employers of a certain size, in our case here in Colorado, 11 employees or greater, from asking about applicants' criminal records on an initial job application. Other states that have banned the box include Hawaii, California, New Mexico, Minnesota, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Illinois, New Jersey, Oregon, Rhode Island, Vermont, Washington State, and the District of Columbia. Keep in mind, you'll want to look into the details of your specific state because every law is a little bit different. There are some exceptions to the rules when it comes to employer size and who's sort of actually banned the box. And while this is a great sign of progress for the nearly 1/3 of adult working age U.S. population that has a criminal background, most of these laws still don't prohibit employers from asking applicants about their criminal record during the interview. And when you're asked, you often are required legally to disclose. So again, there are a few exceptions to that norm, but when you're asked about a criminal background, if you have a conviction on your background, you really do need to disclose. So whether or not this comes up in your initial application screen, it is best to be prepared to address a criminal record in the interview in case you end up needing to. So how should you discuss your record in the interview? Experts recommend keeping a few key best practices in mind. Do express remorse for past transgressions. You might say something like, in the past, I made some poor decisions. I served X amount of time, X number of years ago. But don't dwell on the past or feel the need to over-explain. You don't need to get into the details of your case. You really don't need to over-explain what happened or the details of the time you served. But you do want to focus instead on demonstrated growth and learning. You might say, I've learned a lot about myself since then, and here's how I've changed my life for the better. You do want to stay confident about your present and future. You might say something like, here's how I'll bring those lessons I've learned and my skills to your organization. But don't let this disclosure take over your entire interview. You don't want this to be the focus. As swiftly as you can, get back to your main selling points to keep the conversation moving forward. You really want to do your best to focus the conversation on your valuable skills and experiences and reinforce why you're a great fit for the position and for the organization. At the end of the day, employers do have a right to see an individual's criminal record before hiring them. However, a couple exceptions here. The decision to not hire someone based on his or her criminal record must be explicitly specific and related to the job they're hiring for, and be cause for concern in the form of that employee becoming a liability. Furthermore, arrest records that did not result in a conviction and any convictions or criminal records that have since been expunged and really removed from your criminal record cannot be used in making any hiring decisions. But if these exceptions don't apply to you, you want to be prepared to address your criminal record in the interview if it does come up, either directly or indirectly. For even more answers to commonly asked questions related to job seeking with a criminal record, I'm linking in the show notes today to a really comprehensive post from a friend's website of mine, Paula Brantner, who's a friend of the show. She used to run this organization for many years. The website's called workplacefairness.org, and I highly recommend clicking through to get even more details. If you found today's episode helpful, share it with the folks in your world who you know could use it. And stay tuned for next week's third installment of what to disclose in the job interview and what to keep to yourself. Turns out there's a ton of disclosures that you'll want to think about on the job search. And if you want to hear last week's episode that's very much related to this, but more about pregnancy, parental status, and marital status, you can check out the link in today's show notes as well. Thanks as always for listening, for rating and reviewing, for sharing these episodes with the folks in your world who you know could use it. Let's continue to get out there, keep bossing, doing what we can to pursue our purpose, and let's lift as we climb.